Most people think snakes show up no matter what you plant. But here's the secret. A few of the most common plants in senior gardens quietly create spots where snakes settle in without you noticing. As we age, those gentle morning walks matter more, and anything shifting near our feet can instantly steal that sense of calm. Sometimes it's just a little shade or a damp corner, but those small things can decide whether your yard feels safe or uneasy. Stay with me, because you're about to hear 10 plants that naturally attract snakes even though they look harmless, along with simple swaps that don't require bending or constant trimming. After 60, something subtle changes. We want beauty that feels easy, steady, and comforting. And at the end, you'll get one of the most effective swaps for reducing snake activity fast. Welcome to Golden Garden Days, a place that feels like a friend standing beside you. If you move a bit more carefully or watch where pets and little ones step, you're in the right place. Even as cooler days roll in, your garden can stay beautiful and safe. Take a breath. We're starting with plants that look innocent but naturally create pockets snakes love. Once you see the signs, you'll instantly feel more confident and at ease in your yard. Plant 1 Crown Jasmine. Crown jasmine is one of the most comforting plants for many seniors because it's gentle, fragrant, and doesn't ask for much work. It spreads quietly and fills empty spaces in a way that feels soft and familiar. And after 60, we naturally reach for plants that don't demand bending or constant trimming. It gives the garden that easy beauty you can enjoy from your porch without thinking about maintenance. Here's the secret though. Crown jasmine grows low and wide, forming a thick mat right around ankle height. Snakes slip under covers like that instantly because it gives them shade and a sense of safety. And as we age, something subtle happens with how we walk. We depend more on seeing the ground clearly. When a plant hides what's under it, even just 4 inches of cover can make a simple step feel uncertain. The goal is to keep the beauty without risking your footing. A simple swap is choosing taller, airier bloomers around 18 to 24 inches high. These keep the ground visible, move naturally with the breeze, and make the whole space feel open and calm. You get the same gentle charm, just with better peace of mind every time you walk through your garden. Plant 2 Blue Fescue Clumps. Blue fescue has become one of the most popular little grasses in senior gardens because it stays neat and stylish without much work. Those soft blue tufts add a calm, modern touch, and they don't sprawl or need trimming, which naturally makes them feel like a safe, easy choice. As we age, we tend to choose plants that behave themselves, and blue fescue looks like the perfect low-stress option. Here's the secret. Those cute clumps sit just far enough apart to create small dark pockets between them, and snakes instantly use those spaces, like tunnels. The grass arches low, right at ankle height, so movement stays hidden until it's close. After 60, something subtle happens. Our feet stay closer to the ground, and brushing against something unexpectedly can send a jolt through your whole body. Blue fescue sits exactly in that startle zone. The goal is to keep that clean, decorative look without the surprises. A simple swap is choosing smooth, even low grasses that grow in a soft, connected sheet about 6 to 8 inches high. They give you the same peaceful color and motion, but the ground stays visible and open, which instantly makes your yard feel steadier, safer, and easier to walk through. Plant 3 Autumn Brilliance Ferns. Autumn Brilliance Ferns are one of the most comforting plants for shady spots because they bring that soft, feathery look without asking for much care. They feel peaceful the moment you see them, and for many seniors, the appeal is simple: beauty that doesn't require bending or constant trimming. They fill a corner naturally, almost like the plant is doing the work for you. Here's the secret. These ferns create deep shade and hold moisture longer than most plants around them. That cool, damp layer becomes a natural hiding place for snakes, who slip into those dark pockets instantly. After 60, something subtle happens with how we move. Damp soil under low shade can make a step feel unsteady, especially near narrow paths or areas we pass through without thinking. The goal is to keep the soothing green without the hidden moisture. Switching to lighter, more open shade plants, ones around 12 to 18 inches tall with space between the stems, keeps air flowing and the ground visible. These plants brighten the area, dry the soil, and make the whole corner feel calmer and safer to walk past. You keep the serenity, just without the damp shadows that create worry. Plant 4, dwarf butterfly bush. The dwarf butterfly bush feels like such an easy joy in the garden because it brings butterflies so naturally and doesn't demand much care. It's small, tidy, and gentle, which is why so many seniors love it. After 60, simple beauty without constant bending feels like a gift, and this plant seems to offer exactly that. Here's the secret. It also attracts small ground animals like mice and voles, and snakes follow those animals instantly. The bush stays low and full, so any movement underneath stays hidden until you're right beside it. As we age, something subtle happens. Sudden motion near our feet can feel sharper and more alarming than it once did. A quick rustle under a low shrub can take away that calm you want in your yard. The goal is to keep the butterflies without inviting the worry. Choosing taller, open pollinator plants around 2 to 3 feet high keeps everything visible while still bringing color and life. The garden feels lighter, clearer, and easier to walk through. Before we move on, if these insights are helping, feel free to subscribe for more senior-friendly garden safety tips. Which plant has surprised you so far? And if you've ever been startled by movement in your garden, share your experience in the comments. You're learning simple changes that instantly make your space safer and more peaceful. Plant 5, Creeping Jenny, the golden variety. Plant 5, Creeping Jenny. Golden variety is one of the most cheerful plants you can bring into a yard because its bright golden leaves instantly light up any space. It spreads naturally with almost no effort. And after 60, that kind of soft, glowing color feels like a quiet relief beauty you can enjoy without bending, trimming, or keeping up with constant care. It smooths the edges of beds and walkways and adds a warm, welcoming look you can appreciate even from a chair or porch. Here's the secret. Creeping Jenny creates a low, moist blanket that snakes slide under without thinking. The leaves sit tight against the soil and hold dampness long after rain or watering. As we age, something subtle happens. We depend more on seeing the ground clearly to feel steady. And this type of cover can hide dips or uneven spots that might throw off your balance during a simple step. The goal is to keep the bright color without the hidden moisture. Choosing a low moisture ground cover that grows just a few inches taller keeps the soil dry, open, and visible with each step. You still get that vibrant pop of color, but now your garden feels steadier, safer, and much more comfortable to move through. Plant 6, Miniature Hostas are one of the most popular choices for tiny senior gardens because they look tidy, soft, and elegant without taking up much space. Their little mounds of cool green feel calming in a way that's hard to describe. And after 60, that kind of low-effort beauty feels naturally comforting. They fit neatly along walkways, in patio pots, or beside shaded seating areas, giving you a gentle splash of color without needing constant trimming or bending. Here's the secret. Those broad leaves create cool, shaded hideouts that snakes slip under instantly. The leaves overlap in layers, forming little pockets of darkness where movement stays hidden. As we age, something subtle happens. We trust sight more than quick reactions. And when a pet noses around under those leaves, or when you reach down without thinking to pull a weed, the sudden rustle underneath can send a shock right through your chest. The goal is to keep the soothing beauty of shade plants without creating a hidden space beneath them. Swapping to upright shade options Plants that grow 12 to 24 inches tall, with stems you can see through, keeps the area open and the ground visible. These plants move naturally with the breeze, lifting the whole space and making it feel lighter, safer, and easier to walk around. You still get that soft, peaceful look, but now every inch of your garden stays visible, steady, and calm. Plant 7 Blue Star Creeper. Blue Star Creeper is one of the most loved little ground covers because it creates that soft, carpet-like texture that instantly makes a garden feel gentle and inviting. It spreads naturally across the soil, filling in gaps and smoothing rough edges in a way that feels calming to look at. After 60, we often reach for plants that stay low and tidy because they give the yard a peaceful, finished look without needing much attention. And this plant seems to promise exactly that. Here's the secret. Blue Star Creeper grows into a dense mat that snakes move under without thinking. The cover sits just an inch or two above the soil, creating a shallow tunnel that hides movement completely. As we age, something subtle happens. We rely more on seeing what's around our feet to feel steady. Movement under a dense ground cover becomes visible only at the very last moment, and that split-second surprise can instantly tighten your chest or throw off your balance. The goal is to keep that softness you love without the hidden motion underneath. Choosing a breathable ground cover, one that grows in small clumps or light patches, rising about 4 to 6 inches high, keeps the soil visible and the air moving. These plants still give you the gentle, low-growing feel, but the garden becomes easier to read, calmer to walk through, and far less likely to startle you. You keep the softness, but you lose the surprises, and that shift makes your whole outdoor space feel safer and more soothing. Plant 8 Rock Cress. Arboreata is one of the most soothing plants to look at because it forms those gentle, cushion-like mounds that naturally soften a garden bed. The colors are bright and friendly, and the way it drapes over rocks or slopes makes everything feel calm and settled. After 60, we're often drawn to plants that offer comfort without a lot of upkeep, and rock cress seems to give exactly that, a tidy, peaceful look without much trimming or bending. Here's the secret. Those soft mounds create warm pockets that snakes use as rest spots without thinking. The plant rises just a few inches off the soil, trapping heat underneath like a tiny blanket. As we age, something subtle happens with how we read the ground-raised cushions. Look harmless, almost inviting, but they can hide warmth zones where snakes settle instantly. You might walk past them naturally, never suspecting what could be tucked beneath that smooth, rounded surface. The goal is to keep the calm, low-growing beauty without creating hidden heat traps. Switching to flatter alpine plants, ones that spread lightly across the soil instead of forming domes, usually staying 1 to 2 inches tall, keeps the ground cool and visible. These choices still bring soft color and texture, but the area feels more open, steady, and honest underfoot. You get the same sense of comfort, just without the hidden, warm spots that can turn a peaceful step into a moment of worry. Plant 9 Little Henry Sweetspire. Little Henry Sweetspire has been one of the most talked about plants in senior gardening magazines because it promises easy care with soft blooms and gentle color. It feels like the kind of shrub you can plant and simply enjoy without much trimming or bending. After 60, that kind of effortless beauty naturally feels comforting, something that brightens the yard without asking anything from you. It settles nicely along fences and walkways and gives a calm, relaxed look that feels welcoming. Here's the secret. Those low arching branches create shadow tunnels that snakes slip into instantly. The plant bends outward instead of upward, making long, cool pockets of shade close to the ground. As we age, something subtle happens. With how we read our surroundings, we depend more on clear visibility to feel steady. These shadow tunnels cut into that clarity, making the ground look darker and less predictable, especially when you're walking along a path or guiding a pet through the yard without thinking. The goal is to keep the gentle charm without losing visibility. Replacing it with airy, upright shrubs, plants that grow vertically with open stems and stand about 2 to 3 feet tall, keeps the space bright and easy to read. These shrubs let light flow naturally through the branches, instantly opening up the whole area and making each step feel more confident. You get the beauty, but this time with openness, calm, and the kind of clear sightlines that bring real peace to your garden. Plant 10 dwarf barberry is still one of the most widely sold shrubs, even though many gardeners have mixed feelings about it. It's small, tidy, and has that rich red color that instantly adds structure to a garden bed. After 60, we naturally look for plants that stay in their shape without constant trimming, and dwarf barberry seems to offer that steady, low-maintenance beauty. It can sit along walkways or near patios and give the yard a neat, organized look without much effort. Here's the secret. The mix of warm soil and small stones beneath this shrub creates a perfect resting spot for snakes. They slip under the plant without thinking because the thorny base gives them a sense of protection while holding extra warmth. As we age, something subtle happens. Thorns become more than an inconvenience. They become a real hazard. And when thorns combine with hidden movement, it creates a double danger that can instantly shake your confidence, especially if you're walking by naturally or tending to a nearby pot. The goal is to keep that tidy structure without the risk. Choosing smooth, thorn-free shrubs, ones that stand about 2 to 3 feet tall and grow in clean, open shapes, gives you the same sense of order and color without the hidden threats. These shrubs open up the ground, let the light flow through, and make the whole area feel calm and easy to navigate. You still get that feeling of structure and beauty, but now with the comfort of knowing nothing sharp or hidden is waiting underneath. Here's the secret. If you want one of the most effective, senior-friendly plants for discouraging snake activity, choose woolly lamb's ear. It naturally sends snakes elsewhere because the soft, fuzzy leaves create a texture they don't like sliding over, and the plant stays dry and airy instead of trapping moisture. The scent is gentle but steady, and the way the leaves lift slightly off the soil keeps air moving underneath, which instantly removes the sheltered feelings snakes look for. As we age, something subtle happens. We depend more on clear sightlines and plants that don't hide the ground. And lamb's ear rises just high enough, around 8 to 12 inches, to keep everything visible without asking for any bending or fussing. The goal is simple: beauty that keeps you safe, calm, and fully in control of your space. A garden that feels peaceful always comes back to the choices you make. Each small swap opens the space a little more, gives you clearer footsteps, and naturally brings back that sense of ease you want when you step outside in the morning. After 60, confidence in the garden matters just as much as color or blooms. And choosing plants that support steady footing and open views instantly brings that calm feeling back. You deserve a yard where every step feels predictable, safe, and soothing, a place where the worry lifts the moment you walk outside. Before we close, if this guide brought you any clarity or comfort, you're welcome to give it a like. And if you'd like more gentle, senior-friendly gardening wisdom each week, you can subscribe and stay connected. I'd love to hear which plant you plan to replace first, or which one surprised you the most today. Keep your hands in the soil, your heart in the garden, and your days golden.